I've grown to love being an imposter.
Very good.
That's the reality.
I don't need your permission.
I was paid the same as people who had no training and they just learn English in high school, for example.
I have worked in a hiring position in 2 different companies in Vietnam. And both times when I was working in management as a hiring manager, I was pushed very much to go for native speaker
I absolutely love the content that you share because I think it's so important for people to challenge their thinking about what is proper in English teaching. Specifically, I come from pronunciation and fluency work, and I definitely feel that there is a lot of bias around who should be teaching that.
Some idiomatic expressions are important to know, but ultimately, good communicators don't tend to exclude a specific audience from their speech or from their daily communication. And I do have that happen a lot, and I am very aware of it because I am a non-native speaker, but I teach idiomatic expressions often to L1 speakers of English because they are not familiar with them themselves. I feel like I'm tooting my own horn, but that's not the reason I'm saying this. But it's because, and then I make them aware of the fact that if they are using idiomatic expressions with someone who might not be familiar with them, they are poor communicators because you always have to write, you speak for an audience, you write for an audience, and you don't want to exclude people from your conversation.
Speaker is, what a native speaker looks like, sounds like, and it's kind of, it really defeats the purpose of learning and connecting and being able to belong. So that's more or less the reason why I feel I need to stand against this. I think you hit on a key point, which is privilege. So it is a huge privilege to be able to walk into an industry and assume the role of a teacher without any real training, without any real experience. That is a huge privilege because you can't do that in every industry. And I think people who are like holding on for dear life to not talk about these things, it's a privilege to be able to ignore certain
There
things.
is not an inner circle to get into. I mean, English belongs to English speakers or to speakers of English.
I think as a non-native speaker, we are quite used to this type of back talk. But when this happens to native speakers and they are, I think, really taken aback by, how can I be perceived as someone that can't speak proper English? Well, welcome to the receiving end of this, right?
To students that they shouldn't wait for the industry to adapt, that they should make the decision now to just find a great teacher no matter where they're born. And that, every time they see an ad, like exactly the ones you're talking about, like, we have native speaking teachers and you should learn to have, my accent, whatever. When students see that, they should learn to kind of think, well, that's a very old-fashioned company.